Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 strongest grass type pals in Palworld's 1.0 update. And the grass type is home to some very interesting pals that have different passives than other types in the game, and across the board they are good for like planting, gathering and all that kind of stuff, so we'll break down some honorable mentions here. Like my Cora here, who has actually pretty solid gathering, planting, handiwork, and medicine skills, and it'll also boost up the medicine production work suitability of all their base pals by +1. Or Prunelia, who can also boost up our pals, our base by increasing the harvest by 35%. Pair this with Lulu here, who can increase the growth rate of crops by 70%, and you got yourself a base set up for growing. Now, we also have some really interesting ones early on in the game, like Gumas here, which will increase logging efficiency. That means the amount of damage you deal to trees, and it'll also reduce the weight of all types of woods by 60%, which is amazing if you're trying to set up a wood-themed base. Now there's pals like Bristla here who will increase the attack of grass pals by 30%. Now this is interesting because it's just the attack stat. So if you have a grass pal and change all their moves into fire type, for example, the fire type moves still get that 30% buff. So that can be very strong. There are also very powerful pals like Herbalhill, the goat, who will actually revive you if you go down, which is obviously very strong throughout the entire game. Then we also have pals like Robinquill, who got redesigned here. There's actually a few grass types that got redesigned, increasing bow damage by 35%. I just posted a build for bows, and you can actually swap them out in a lot of instances, but it is still nice for the earlier sections of the game. Now we also have some others like Mamorast, who are actually really good for not just logging but also mining. This increased the damage by 2000%, so you can destroy things, especially if you use its special move, the Earth Impact, there to take things out. We also have pals like Petalia Ignis here, which will heal the party and make it so that you're immune to ivy covered and take less grass damage. This is a grass fire type, making it a very interesting type. And we also have Ribunny Botan here, which increases the pal's grass damage to enemy weak points. Basically what the saying is, if you're attacking a ground type, you get 40% extra damage against that. Super effective damage. We also got Quiver Botan here, which will change your attack type to grass and increase by 20%. Now something that's interesting about grass is into the 1.0 update, you can now apply Muddy, and that makes the target take double grass damage. So there's actually a cool way to use Surf and Terra, not a grass type, but it buffs up Quiver and Botan, which change your attack type into grass. And we also have pals like Elgrove, who do the same thing, but increase it by 50%. It's a toggleable skill versus riding on Quiver's back. We also got pals like Warsect here, great for melee builds if you want to roll at close range, and it's also pretty strong as well, but not some of the best that we have here. And I also want to mention for fire builds, Needle and Needle Knock. Now Needle Knocked will apply Ivy covered, which slows down the enemy and makes them take double fire damage. So this is great on a fire setup, and you can pair it with Needle for an additional 65% extra damage. And there's pals like Tropica, which can increase the invincibility frames during dodge rolls, which is obviously a really good effect here, by 30%, giving you more survivability if you like that playstyle of dodging. And last two honorable mentions, we have Duelith here, which is one of the coolest pals. I love the little appearance to it. But what's great about this is it has some really interesting moves, like the Force Laser here. You do charge this up, and then you just destroy things. I accidentally let go of it. He also has some really cool moves with like Rocket Arm. I just love the appearance of having that arm swing back around and you shoot them off like that. There is a long windup on these moves, but they are really cool to use. And last honorable mention is going to go to Verdash here, who got a nice change in his overall appearance in the 1.0 update. And honestly, very strong pal. You can see here in our party, 4,400 damage. It's actually a beast, although its partner skill here is not really that great, especially if you're using something like the Airwalker EX, which gives you 2 extra jumps and 2 extra dashes, which makes his ability useless. But in 5th place, we have Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth is not going any higher on this list because to get the most out of her, you got to run a full grass party, and it does require you to have multiple bee guards. So this can give it pretty solid damage. You see 5,800 attack here. This is with, so for all of these, I will be using the same passives to keep things consistent and easy to follow. Immortality for 15, Serenity for 10%, Demon God for 30, and Musclehead for another 30. So that's how we're getting these stats here. But its special ability increases its attack by 24% for each bee guard in the party. So their special ability makes it so that they increase Elizabeth's attack. Now, if you're doing any type of breeding, bee guards are great because they create honey, and you can put them at a ranch to get honey and basically have an infinite supply of cake. But yeah, bee guard and Elizabeth are an interesting combo, but it has some fun moves. Obviously, grass having the very powerful wind burst, huge area of effect, can destroy like the Moon Lord boss fight immediately. but they typically were going to come with something like Poison Blast, which can poison the enemy, which is amazing because poison will stack with other statuses. So if you have Ivy covered on an enemy, you can also poison them. It has an exclusive skill here, Spinning Staff, which has a very short cooldown of 8 seconds, not very high damage, but it has a pretty solid damage stat, and if you wanted to build around it, or if you're a beekeeper in real life, this is a very cool setup. Now in 4th place, we have Ophidia here. Now, this is one of my favorite new pals. It just doesn't really fit like the grass theming. It is also a water type pal, and I have ranked in my water type video. What it does is it applies soaked. This will make it so that electric type damage deals double damage and also slow down the enemy a bit. So if you're going for like an electric style team, this is the best in slot. Even better when paired with Yormantide here for a 65% increased damage against pals or enemies that have soak applied to them. But this is a powerful pal, 4457 for its attack, obviously not as high as Elizabeth, but you don't have to build your entire team around it. Where it really shines is it's got the Lotus Bloom exclusive skill here, which looks incredible, but it's kind of like a hybrid pal where you want to use it for multiple different setups. So Lotus Bloom is a special ability. I'll show you what this looks like here. So you teleport into an area where you select and come out in this flower. One of the coolest animations in the game, reminds me of Millennia from Elden Ring. I love this. And you can also ride on its back and shoot at targets. So if you like to do that kind of playstyle, you can do that with this pal. And yeah, Ophidia is mostly reserved for if you're doing an electric style build. So yeah, while this is like a grass top 5, it's great for other setups. And in particular, like a water electric style party. But yeah, soaked is a really good status. Sadly, the only status that actually will impact grass types is that muddy from a ground type. But to get to our 3rd place pal, we're going with a bit of a damage buff here. Now, it does lose a bit of defense between Ophidia here and Sylvan's. You see 4,400 attack, 4,600 attack. Now, Sylvan's is really great because it will actually get a benefit from Ivy covered, which again is more so if you're going to do a fire themed build, you want to have Sylvan's here because its special partner skill will make it so that enemies that are inflicted with Ivy covered will explode, dealing additional damage equal to 60% of the player's attack damage to nearby enemies. This is really good because you basically are going to apply Ivy covered and get a massive boost to your damage. This is great if you're using something like the mechanical bow, for example. It's also a really cool looking pal. The animations for its attacks are great. It's going to go destroy this stuff here. It's kind of like a moth. It does have some exclusive skills here, or this one here leaving those little spores in the air and then exploding. But it also comes with some other skills to it as well. So that was the Spore Burst exclusive skill. It also has the Giant Spore, which you saw flying along there. And it can learn naturally Blizzard Spike, and Wind Burst again being one of the best skills in the game. So yeah, it does have actually a lot of really great skills, but it's mostly its exclusive skills here that I think work best for it. So yeah, that's why I put it above Ophidia, although Ophidia will probably be a bit better in a lot of situations. If you're sticking to the grass theme, Sylvan's has a higher attack stat and has more synergy within like a grass fire themed build versus the water electric that I was showing you guys with Ophidia here. So yeah, Sylvan's is really cool. I love the animations, and it's just like a bug monarch. Now, a funny thing about grass type in this game is grass type kind of encompasses the bug type traditionally in other creature catchers. So yeah, it's really funny. It's literally Goku here, charge up a spirit bomb and destroying it. Yeah, love it. It's cool animations, very powerful pal, 2 exclusive skills that are actually really strong too, with 800 for Spore Burst and 700 for Giant Spore. Now, in our 2nd place, we have a pal that has the exact same stats. So looking at Sylvan's compared to Lylene, you got to see the attack is both 4632, defense 1829. It has similar enough skills, but Sylvan's being the better base pal. Where Lylene really shines is the Harvest Goddess. Now, there's also Lylene Noct, which is also incredible, especially if you're doing like an Eidolon style build. Bountiful Protection is insane, 90% heal. What's amazing about this is, let's say you have a pal that went down. This also revives them and brings them up to 90% health. So you have sustained for days when you're using Lylene. And I know Lylene is like one of the very first pals that was added to this game. They've kept it very strong. It does have one exclusive skill here, which is nice, but that is just the Bountiful Protection. But it can learn things like Solar Blast, Spine Vine, Seed Mine, even Aqua Burst at natural. So this is more so a pal that you would want to use for a defensive focused team, or if you just need a health top up, because yeah, that is every 6 minutes here. or every 5 minutes. So yeah, you can reduce that if you're using a different pal in your party. So if you were to have a Lapure here, it'll reduce that down to 2.5 minutes. But even still, that's a full revive. Incredible utility. And it was close between these two. Like obviously Sylvan's is more offensive focused with 2 unique skills. Lylene just has an insanely powerful ability, especially if you're doing some of the fights in this game and you have your star pal go down, you can revive them easily with Lylene. So Lylene and Lylene Knock fit onto pretty much every team. It's a great pal. And our first place best grass pal in Palworld's 1.0 update. Dandalord. Lord, he is crazy. Now, what Dandalord does so well is leave statuses on the ground between Poison Promenade, which will create a mist, which will end up poisoning targets, Toxic Dance, similar thing, leaving a corrosive mist on the ground, and Mist Stalwart, which is his exclusive skill, Poison 6 on your attacks. Now, Poison isn't insanely high damage, but it's how it can stack with other pals in this game. And it's more like a dark pal than a grass type, but it is grass first. It'll also nullify any of the toxic gas in the world tree, so it's really an essential one for exploring. And you can see there, without having to be buffed up, 51-54 attack here, putting it not as high as obviously Elizabeth, but without any required setup. But with Dandalord, you can also pair it with Prickster, which when a pal is poisoned, increases the damage that they take by 65%, and Bakemi, which is an insane partner skill. Any enemies that are poisoned reduces their damage by 80%, so they basically don't really hit you that hard. It's crazy. But the other thing is, poison will stack with, let's say, burn or ivy covered. So if you want to use the needle knock and go in with a fire setup and poison, you can have all of that going all at the same time. You can also do a blind setup with like Venusa, which will blind, and then throw on Rouge for additional damage on that. Dandalord is an absolute beast in Palworld's 1.0 update, and really cool animations as well. It's a great base pal because when it's fully condensed, it's going to have 10 planting, 8 handiwork, 8 medicine production, 4 transporting, and 6 gathering. So it's incredibly powerful as a base pal, but it's also just a offensive powerhouse. And you will see it here absolutely just destroy everything with these cool dancing animations. It is kind of like a step dancer. He's got these really cool boots on, and yeah, it's just a super strong pal depending on what setup you, even without much of a setup. You can just apply the Mist Stalwart there and then get poison on your attacks. I love to use the Combat SMG for this particular setup because the Combat SMG will get a crazy high fire rate. He's taking them out before I can even attack them. He's even causing lag. He is a powerful, powerful pal. So that's why I have to say that Dandalord is the strongest grass type in Palworld's 1.0 update. But let me know your favorite grass type pal in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.